Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to PGR4 Platinum Playthrough, and we have managed to finish all of the car medals, finished Chapter 10, the Ultimate Challenge in the last episode, so we're going back to Chapter 1 to start on the bikes. So we'll jump into that, catch me if you can. Again, we've seen all these races of course, but attempting these on the bikes this time for the bike medals, so there's no way of sorting by bikes, which is annoying, but we've got the Gold Star DBD34, the Buell RR 1200, and that is it. That is our two choices, and I don't know which one's better at all. 5 on acceleration, 1 top speed, 3 grip and braking, 5 on acceleration. Okay, we'll just give this one a go for this one. I think it was a street race or something. Yeah. See what happens. So there is going to be a bit of a learning curve with the bikes, but this chapter should be fine because it's just street races and stuff. But when we start getting onto the style-based events, I'm going to suck. And I'm going to need a lot of attempts and a lot of practice to do it. But luckily the bike's very quick off the line. And to be fair, I do think the bikes drift quite easily. I'm sticking in third round here. But because you get in front so quickly, it does make things a lot easier. And it does have 4 gears, but I don't know if you need to stay in 4th. I am actually hitting the rev limit here in 3rd, so maybe not. But this will be the first time that I've used the bikes for an extended period. I have used them briefly for one chapter and a few invitationals, but not going so bad. When we get to the higher classes like A class, where top speed comes into a big factor, and also some of those style-based events are really difficult. Like the one in Chapter 4, with the Chapter 10, sorry, in the F40. There was a time versus kudos, which I only just did in the F40, so I don't know how I'm going to do that on a bike. We shall see. I'm probably going to swear a lot. But this is where you drift loads in a bike, that's really easy to do. So that was actually quite nice to drive, because it's only, I think it said F class, isn't it? So not too bad. 2 bikes, obviously, so we're not going to have a great deal of variety in this one. But it does mean that's the first street race down, and it's just street races and one-on-ones and Eliminator in this, so we'll try the other one this time, so it's got a better top speed. And that is called the Gold Star. BSA Gold Star DBD34, whatever that means. I have to say, the thing I like the most about the bikes is how quick they are off the line. But this is where they're going to struggle on the straights like this, because there's a big gap actually between us starting here. And this low down acceleration, you see the D-type takes ages to wind up, but as soon as that gets going, that's great. And I've forgotten how to use tricks, it's there, RB. That's going to be hard to get used to. I'm going to have to use a different finger now to accelerate, to use the right bumper. But you can fly through corners on this. So some of these races seem like they're easier on the bike than they would be in the respective cars, because you can fly through corners like that, but tighter corners they generally don't do quite as well. Like, you have to turn in a lot sooner than you normally would. But this is great to drive as well, to be honest, or ride, should I say. That sucked by me, that was awful. But the cars will catch up a lot on here. But I've probably got time to do a wheelie. Just even do wheelies. No, you can't do a wheelie on this. I don't think it's powerful enough. Which, to be honest, makes sense. Look, he's trying. This move's called the rocking horse. Yeehaw! I don't even think this bike, even if it had a lot of power, I don't think it's the right shape to do a wheelie. I don't know. I think the exhaust might hit the ground. The car's catching up to the bikes. I think when you turn, you can possibly do one of these moves. Hand drag. I think it briefly does it, but it doesn't show the animation because the corner's not long enough. Oh, that could have been bad, but it wasn't. Right, turned in a little sooner that time. Still not brilliant. So that does mean that this bike's going to be very difficult to get any tricks on. They should... I'm going to create my own kudos move. The rocking horse. Look at this. Giddy up. I think that means you can't do an endo either. I am way further ahead on the bikes than I have been on the cars on this difficulty for some reason. Let's try an endo. Oh, oh, Christ, you can do an endo. That scared me a little bit. Apparently you can do an endo. I wasn't expecting that. So I think it's just the power that means you can't do a wheelie in this. Right, that's going to be hard to control. But I could potentially use that in the time versus kudos, maybe? Maybe just this... It might slow you down a bit too much, though, I guess. That's 2 down. Let's jump into the next one. I guess that first bike's better for cornering, and this one's better for long straights. So this is in St. Petersburg again. Right, I will use... I'm going to use this bike for the next 2, so I can skip it to the... don't have to go back to the menu for the next one after this. I have to say, so far, for short tracks, or fairly short tracks, in F-Class, the bikes seem to be actually quite a bit better than the cars. The GMC gets off the line very well, though. The Buick, not so much. But we can see the better acceleration of this compared to that Buell, is it? And this is a BSA. I am learning slowly. Cyclone's very good off the line and not too bad when it's going. This motorbike's fairly quick for a motorbike, but it's going to drop behind the cars now, so I'll get in behind this big old booty. And potentially you can outbrake the cars as well, because it's very light, the bike. Not as much weight to slow down, but it only has 2 brake discs against 4. But I think the weight's going to come into play more than anything else there. And this is also a lot easier to judge than a car. Going around here, I always crash into the wall. Obviously, the bike is a lot thinner, so you've got more room to play with. I'm definitely not doing that right, though. I think it's even more of a case of slow in, fast out on a bike. Even more so than the cars. But I think the Buick's not too bad once it gets going. On the second lap now, though. I was going to turn in way too soon then. Oh dear. And that is what I'm afraid of. But I'm going to keep doing that. And I've invited them back into the race. Which is not what I wanted to do. I always feel like I'm going to turn in too soon on the bike and crash into the wall. I need to check with the other one if I can do a wheelie in it, in the Buell. Way quicker around here than the cars, though. So nimble. Wow. Well, that's my race over, isn't it? Okay, so I potentially tried to go around that bridge corner a little too quick. Then I murdered myself, and then I was rejuvenated back on the bike, and then I got murdered by the Buick. So I actually died twice in that race, which is never good. And it's so slow, even 2 laps of this track take ages in these cars and bikes. I just got stuck behind him. It's a drag race. I'll stay with him till about now, and then he'll start pulling. No, it's pretty even. Right, I must note to myself that I cannot go quite as quick as that round that bridge corner. Well, potentially I could have done, but I got the angles all wrong. That was an epic crash, and that second crash actually scared me a little. I don't like the way, and they really missed a trick here, that it spawns you, respawns you, and I was in 4th gear, so I had to change all the way down to 1st when I was stopped already. Which I don't think is a very good mechanic of the game. And I'm not doing these corners properly. I need to get better at these, which I hopefully will do if I keep playing with the bikes. But yeah, spawn me in 4th gear, and I have to waste time to change all the way down. It should know that when you've crashed and reset that you're going to be back in 1st gear. I'm keep doing this on every corner now. What am I doing? I'm turning in too soon and I'm correcting myself. Luckily these bikes are slow. Okay, now I've fallen off on the curb. Oh, this is not going well, is it? I had such a good first couple races, and now I've completely lost it. And I think this is going to be another restart, which is probably going to bore you to death. I don't think I'm catching them up from here. I'm going to have to go full speed around here again, which I can quite easily, actually. I just need to stop falling off the bike, really. That was an okay corner, but I'm never going to catch these guys up now. No, right the finish. This is completely my own fault, because I keep crashing. Why do I keep crashing? I feel like I'm braking maybe not enough in the bike, and I'm going way too wide. Yeah, you have to brake, then sort of let off, and then see where you are on the track, because then it starts turning after you brake. You can't really brake and turn at the same time. Really hard to get like a good corner on a bike, like hitting the apex and accelerating out. It's going to take a lot of practice. I think I'm getting a bit more used to it now, though. I nearly crashed into that this time. Right, so you can go full speed around there quite easily. That's too wide. I need to hit the apex. So I got great corner out of it somehow, though. Is the optimal line for a bike the same as it is for a car around the corner? Does anybody know that? Because I'm trying to like hit the apex and accelerate out like you do in a car. And it's not working for me. You just have to go a lot wider. I think it's too hard to judge it otherwise. Because oh no, I've died again. Again. I don't know what I'm doing now. I can't restart this a 4th time. This is getting embarrassing now. It is, I can't catch these guys up now. The hell's wrong with me? I've crashed in 3 different ways. Oh, this is so annoying. I'm literally failing on the first chapter. Right, I have to not crash now. This is getting ridiculous. This is getting extremely silly. This is chapter 1 in Class F bikes, and I can't stay on the damn thing. I'm just going to have to do safe driving, safe riding. Not go for, like, the quickest corner ever. It's really not a difficult track, it's just like 4 corners pretty much. So, I still don't know how you take the corners properly. But I'm suffering, because obviously if you make a mistake in the car, you don't quite lose as much time as you do on a bike. But you fall off and get reset. I feel like I can drive fairly quickly. I'm just going in the centre of the road each time. I'm giving up trying to take the corners well now. My aim is to not crash, because I do get a big lead even if I don't take the corners amazingly. I always do that though. It goes so wide. Right, I've got such a lead now that even if I do crash, I might be okay. That's it, being a bit more conservative. Come on. We can do it. 3rd platinum medal in a bike. Well, not really, because I did that other chapter, but 3rd platinum medal in this run as a bike, and I can't get it. I nearly crashed again. I'll tell you what, some of these style events, I'm going to be restarting them a lot. That felt kind of alright. Bit drifty, but you don't lose too much speed when you drift on a bike. And after many attempts and many crashes, I've actually completed that one in 1st place. You'll all be pleased to know we don't have to go round that track again on this bike. But I'm going to use this one for the next event, so I'll just continue to the event instead of going back to the menu. Right, I've got a 1-on-1 this time against the Z28. I remember this one. I used the Ford Mustang for this. And we'll absolutely murder it off the straight. Off the start, sorry. On the straight. And it's a big straight, this one. But that's... what manufacturer is it? Chevrolet? Yeah, Z28 is very quick, but it's got a terrible top speed. So once it gets going, it's really quick. But I think these corners are a little bit wider, which gives me a better chance of not crashing, at least. Like, this is a very nice wide track for me. But this tops out somewhere around here, but so does the Z28, so that's good. So it won't catch too much on the straights. I'm sure it's like 130 miles an hour or something. But it is coming back for sure. This is where I mess up, look. How on earth is that a nice corner? I had to adjust halfway around to not crash into the centre bit, the inside of the corner. He's going to catch on the straight. This is bad. So he catch a little bit now, but he's still catching. Right, that was a good corner. That is not, absolutely not how you do that. But it was still quicker than him, and I got a lot of kudos. But, yeah, that is not how you do that. I accelerated way too much, went way too wide on each one. But this is where he's going to make a lot of time back until it reaches its top speed, which I forget what it is. Better than this. Here he comes. This is what I'm going to have to get used to with the bikes. And it's not much quicker at all, as you can see. But a lot quicker around the corners, so I'm going to have to get a lead back before... Oh, did it again, turned in too soon. Really difficult. I'm struggling to get used to it. This just sucks in fourth gear really badly. Just got to try and pull away around these sections. And I'm overcorrecting when I actually accelerate out towards the end of the corner. And he caught up on this bit as well. Hopefully this last section of corners, that should be it, because the straight's halfway, the finish is halfway down the straight on the end bit. And it's about the same as the last lap behind me there. That was much better around there. Didn't go quite as wide on each section. Yeah, I've got a big lead now. Absolutely destroy them on the corners. You must get backache riding like that for a long time, surely. There we go, one-on-one done. Probably easier than with the car, but yeah, I'm not very good on the bike, so if someone was better than me, that would probably be easier than a car. But I'm going to change to the other bike now. Okay, so nearly done this one. So we've got Street Race and Eliminator, so I'm going to use the other one, because I think these are shorter tracks, or more complicated ones anyway. Buell. And it is indeed a very short track, so this should blast it off the start and hopefully stay there. But we have got the Corvette in this. This is so good off the line, and this is going to be dependent on whether I can actually beat that Corvette, because that is a quick boy. When that is going, that does not take prisoners. Cut the inside of him there. 2 laps of this track. It's going to be over in 3 seconds. This is more drifty, I feel. I think the other one had more grip. Yeah, you can't fly around there at all, but the bikes just really, really have an advantage on the corners. It feels like, if you can take the corners well. And not do that, preferably. I need to try and stop doing that. I'm trying to take like the perfect corner. And it's just not going to happen. You have to slow down way more than I am. And just accept that you're going to be somewhere in the middle of the road when you go around the corner, not near the apex. But that's second to last one done. Keep mounting up the kudos. I think we've got over 700,000 now, so to the last event in this bike. So we've got an Eliminator on Twisted Old Port, and it's actually going to be quite quick, I think, because there's only 4 vehicles. Notice I'm not saying cars now, because there is 1 bike. In fact, yeah, it's only going to be a minute and a half, because there's 3 to be eliminated. But we've got the Miura. Takes the better line there, but I managed to get around there. This is going to be quite hard to take in a bike, this section. Going uphill with fairly tight corners is not this bike's strong suit, I wouldn't have thought. But you can take those corners so much quicker. These ones maybe not so much. Well, no, you still can. You can whip through them, actually. Do you know what, actually? I do rate them for these more complicated tracks. That's what I've been trying to do all this time. That was a perfect corner. And that's what happens when you don't quite get it right. But I absolutely just blast away from on the bike. It's usually much closer in the car. Unless that happens. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, I've just made it a close finish. Nah, we're fine. We're fine. Even with a crash, we're fine. Cool. That's my first taster of using the bikes. And unfortunately not going to be an F-Class next time, so it's going to be a lot harder than that. And I think the next chapter is to do with style, actually. Right, so that's all Platinum medals in the bike and the car in Chapter 1. And then we've got Drifto 101 in D-Class to do. Superstar, Time vs Kudos, Cone Sprint, Superstar, Time vs Kudos, Cone Attack. So there's quite a few there. They're going to be hard. Cone Attack, for example, using a bike which is thinner than a car. Don't know how that's going to work. Time versus Kudos, Superstar, Cone Sprint's going to be hard because they are kind of agile, but they have an arc, the bikes, don't they? When you take the corner, so that might be more difficult. Let's just see what bikes are available for next time. Ducati 1000 LE, Paul Smart. That looks very odd. I don't really like the look of that. BMW F800S. Okay, 2 bikes again. Very limited in what to use. 8 and 2 on acceleration, top speed. 8 and 3. 7 and 8 on grip. And 6 drifting on that one. So this one's just seems to be more grippy. And this one seems to be drifty. So I'm guessing that one's going to be used for all of these pretty much, except the Cone Sprint maybe and the Cone Attack. But that's the end of this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed, as always. And I'll see you in Drifto 101 for the bike medals.